Sanur. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Viewers of Concerned Citizens of South Sudan, I welcome you all to our program, weekly program. And you can see here tonight, our topic is right there, after President Kiir interview with the Kenyan citizen television presenter, Koinange. We have more. We can reveal more today. The things that are going to implicate the peace agreement, the Khartoum peace agreement. So one more time, I welcome you all to join this thing, to join our discussion. It's so important, to be part of this discussion today. I know some people are surprising what are the things that we are going to reveal, but we are going to talk together, to speak together about the thing that, President Kiir, raised on that interviews and thing that actually did not speak about and thing that the journalists did not ask President Kiir. So we are on the top of this. We are going to do more analysis together. But first, let me remind you this. As you can hear it from the song that always introduction of our program, united we stand and divided we fall. I want to say this message to all South Sudanese across the board, wherever you are, in diaspora, back home, neighboring countries, wherever you are. I'm saying to you, when we are united, we stand together. But when we are divided, we are not likely, to be dysfunction. And I want to give you the example of our, late father, Philip Gabush. He was speaking to the Nubian, those who were in the SPLM. And he has told them that, that في قشة القش ده عندنا بس موجود في جنوب السودان قد يكون is similar to baboons. It's very, very difficult for, for you to break it. But he collect several of them, a lot of them. And then he showed young men from the Nuba mountain. And he said, look at this. He gave one to one individual and he said, break it. And the person actually was able to break that one. And then he gave him more. Rupta yani. Galoyak aksirum, break them. The person was unable to break them. And he said, that's how we are. When we are together, no one is going to break us. But when we are one, you are going your own way, I'm going my own way, we are likely to be broken and we will be dysfunctional and nothing we are going to achieve in our life. So the reason I'm saying that, lately, we have been, using divisive messages. And I wanted to remind you, when we started this, live show, the goal is we can come together and confront who is stopping the people of South Sudan, to become one people for a common purpose. One people that are fighting for justice, liberty, and prosperity. Because these are the core values that South Sudanese, they fought the enemy for nearly 22 years. It started since 1955, before even Sudan gained independence. We raised our voices. Our grandfather, they raised the voices. And then here you come on the war of liberation. We raise our voices. So we have a common purpose that we were fighting for. But unfortunately, sometimes, we get out the hook and we start, acting in a way that it doesn't help. So I wanted to remind you, just be refrain, be mindful. Forget about, the divisive tribe being, on the tribal line. It's not going to help us. It's not going to help anything. Let us unite, because me and you and others, we have the same common. We have the same common goal, that we want to live in peace, that we want to be decent, that we want a functional government, that we want a state that respect the human right, the state that have a potential thinking, in the future to come for generation. So now, like I said, our topic today, after the interview that you have heard already, President Kiir has given, the interview with Citizen Television with Koinange, we wanted to reveal you more because, hey, most of you have watched that interview and most of you are wondering. And there's a lot of reaction from that interview. But before I move there to do more analysis and call people here to come and speak, I want to play an audio. I want to play an audio here from an IO, Stephen Mar IO, Chairman of Foreign Relations. He was asked, and he already spoken what is wrong and why things are going wrong and what should have happened, because actually we are all aware that SPLA-IO has signed a peace deal with other political, opposition, and they're supposed to go to Juba, this coming 30 years for celebration. But unfortunately, that interview that president have given, on Wednesday, you can be judged on your own. You can be judged on your own. So let me go ahead and play that audio before we start our discussion. What happened? Because nena kuna arfin inu masan SPLM-IO, they are going to Juba. Dr. Riek Machar is going to Juba 5 days from now. Today is 25th of October. So I will play this for you. He spoke at the Voice of America. So let me go ahead and play this.
The rebels with the SPLM-IO are setting conditions for their leader, Riek Machar, to attend peace celebrations in Juba next week. Stephen Parr is SPLM-IO's chairman for the group's Foreign Relations Committee. He says there is no peace to celebrate, and Machar will not attend the government-sponsored festivities until President Salva Kiir releases all political prisoners.
What should take us to Juba is the peace agreement that we have just signed with the government. And the agreement is not being implemented. It was actually a resolution of the National Liberation Council of the SPLM-IO that we don't have a problem with celebration of peace in Juba, but there must be peace to celebrate. As we see, there is no peace to be celebrated in Juba. The government is still on the offensive in central Equatoria, in western Equatoria, in western Bahragal, and the government is still holding the abductees, the detainees, and political detainees. There is no freedom of speech in Juba even today, and the state of emergency is not lifted.
Stephen Parr, one would argue that these are conditions you should have put during the negotiations. You don't bring conditions after you've already signed a document. You signed Juba, now you're putting conditions.
Those are not conditions. There is a permanent ceasefire provision in the agreement that is not implemented, and that is not a new condition. The release of the detainees is also part of the agreement, and in fact, these detainees should have been released long time ago, because the provisions for the release of detainees was even in the cessation of hostility agreement. Way back in December 2017, none of the detainees have been released until today, especially the one they have abducted from Kenya.
Last week, the deputy head of mission at the South Sudan embassy was here at VOA, and he said the government of South Sudan should not be asked for the whereabouts of Agri, Idri, and Samuel Dong because they were not abducted in South Sudan.
It is well known by the whole world, especially the human rights organizations and civil society organizations, even the United Nations, has witnessed that the government of South Sudan has been kidnapping people. And the people they are denying have been seen in Juba. They are part of the inmates who rose up weeks ago in the Blue House.
And you were telling me that your organization, the SPLM-IO, will go by the decision in this letter, meaning Dr. Riek Machar is not going to Juba on the 30th of this month. Is that what you're telling me?
That's what I'm telling you, because none of our demands has been met. And these are not just new conditions as you put it. These are principles of peace agreements. And we are talking about provisions of the RRCs being violated by government, which is expecting us to go to Juba and dance with them at the time when they are still fighting us. The SPLM, SPLA-IO is fighting in self-defense in all of those fronts.
Fighting in self-defense is fighting. It doesn't mean you're not fighting. Fighting in self-defense is fighting.
Do you want us to surrender, or what do you think we keep those weapons for? We keep those weapons to defend ourselves. We are an armed political organization.
Your absence at the peace celebration sends a message to the people of South Sudan And here you are saying you are committed to implementing the peace agreement, and at the same time, you are not there when people are celebrating for the peace agreement.
By the way, the people of South Sudan know very well that there is no peace to celebrate now in South Sudan. The people can even tell you better. They are still in refugee camp, they are still being displaced. So where is the peace to celebrate?
Were you forced to sign this peace agreement?
No, not necessarily. You know, we were revitalizing a framework that we signed first in 2015 before even Salva Kiir to sign the agreement. It is an agreement that we have negotiated in good faith twice now, and we have always been ahead of the government in terms of implementing the provision of that agreement.
That's Stephen Parr, SP.
All right, viewers of Concerned Citizen of South Sudan, you have listened to a recorded message from the Voice of America. That was actually John Tanza interviewing Stephen Marr of SPLM-IO, the chairman of Foreign Relations. Last Wednesday, يوم الأربعاء الماضي كان عمل interview ده. انتوا سمعتوا كلام بتاعه شنو؟ We have been talking and speaking on the social media that President Kiir actually on his interview with Jeff Koinange called it that rubbish. You know, we are rubbish on the social media. That's what he said on his interview. So we have been saying to the people of South Sudan, we have been saying to entire world that actually Azol listen for President Kiir mind to face innu ikun fi salam fi Junub Sudan. We said this clearly. But we have been accused that a peace sabotage, Nas, Ada Salam, they don't need anything. But you know what? You can tell a person. You can tell when someone is really interested in mustn't dare give genuine peace to the people of South Sudan. You can tell. We have spoke about Mafi Haja Benjamin Nak, Mafi Haja Kwes Benjamin Khartoum. We knew it. It was a setup. We knew it. It was interest of Khartoum. It was interest of Uganda. But you know what? Our people have suffered for long enough. 4 million. 4 million South Sudanese are refugees. 4 million. And many, many, many more in displaced camp in Juba, in Malakal, in Wau, in Bor, all over the country. Why? Mind an ihsas? Leadership bitana mind them ihsas? They don't feel that? They don't feel that pain that our people have suffered? There is no way here, you know, for a shortcut. Or just, you know, to deceive somebody. It's so clear. That's why I said since day one, there is something fishy here. There is something fishy, and we need to open our eyes. This is the future of ours, and future of our children, and future of generation to come in South Sudan. We have spoke. We have said many things. Simitu ayo kalam. Galo, we are not going to Juba until our demand has met. You know, they have to release the political detainees. POW, prisoner of war. Well, that would pivot the way anyway. And your opponent can know that, you know, there is a decent peace. At least people can know that, oh, نازل فكم ونازل قاعدين في خيام now هيطلعوا ونازل قاعدين في UN compound هيطلعوا هيعرفوا هيكون في إحساس على إنه شنو في سلام جاي. Like there is no indication that peace is coming to the country. And you can see what's happening, right? So, I am wondering, and the reason actually I brought this topic today, I'm not supposed to be talking about this topic. I have another topic on my mind, but I made a U-turn and brought this topic. Because I was wondering all night, since I watched that interview, Jeff Koinange with President Salva Kiir. He's the only lovely journalist that can interview President Kiir since 2016. That's the only television network President Kiir is comfortable with. I wonder, you sign peace deal with your opponent, and all of a sudden you start criticizing your opponent, and you start throwing things. I wonder, what is that? Are we still in war or are we still in peace? That's the question. You, the viewers, you, the South Sudanese, will answer that question. That's why we have to leave that judgment for you. One of the reasons that I play this thing. عشان تسمع براك بأذانك وتقدر تحدد. Where we are heading. Are we heading to peace or are we heading to another war? هل كلامنا هنا كنا قاعدين نقول ده الناس قاعدين يقولوا we are peace sabotaged. What do you think now? What do you think? And many, many more we will talk about. On that interview. I wonder, I start thinking, wow, maybe, or actually that's the fact, this president, because he's not interested in peace, and he will never be interested in peace. As long as he's the president of South Sudan, we will never see a window of peace. We will never see a window of peace. Because the way President Kiir have been behaving with his leadership, you can tell this man is not interested on the stability of the country. Yes. Salo, are we going to have sustainable peace this time? He said, maybe. Maybe. I'm not a president, but I'm an average person. If someone asks me for something, and now we are moving to a different area, I will say, oh, this time I will make sure that we are not going to fight again. I will make sure that our people are not, being targeted again. To build that hope, to build that trust among the population. That's what I would do if I was the president. That's what I would do. Lakini inta taguliaga maybe or maybe not. Or lama taguliaga Zolda always, his eye on the kursi. The problem is, Riek Machar always, it doesn't accept anything else except chair to be a president. The Kalama President Galfi interview that. Would you say that to your opponent that you sign a peace deal? Why are you not allowing the process to take place? At least celebrate. Or you are trying to intimidate him actually not to come to Juba. And you continue with celebration. And then you will prove to region and international community and the sharp Talbelet, oh, this guy actually, Umar Dar Salam, that's why he didn't show up. But you are doing something, you are provoking him not to come actually. But if I were Riek Machar, I will go. I will go. And then see what's going to happen. What next is going to happen there. I will go. I will disagree with the Stephen Pair, and I will go. Because, if you realize something, since this KPA, Khartoum Peace Agreement, was signed, Riek Machar, is taking it positive. He's taking it positive. We have to be sincere here. He's taking it positive. It doesn't, it doesn't come out. It doesn't criticize government. It doesn't criticize President Kiir. It has been positive. But why the opponent, why is all Mother Mao Salam there is not taking that step? What is behind the scene? What's going on? So let's go, my dear brothers and sisters. Let's go and do more analysis on this. Let me go ahead and look here. I see a lot of people that requested. I'll bring you on and move on. Okay. Oh, so many. So many. I'll bring you, Reverend. I saw that you requested. And I'm going to go ahead and do that. But first, while I'm bringing you, let me... Reverend Kanmulal. Kwan Malwal. I hope your internet will function well, but it looked like you start doing the same, usual stuff. So that means that your internet is not good now. Let me remove this and bring it back. Okay, here you are. So, what do you think, sir?
To the viewers and a lovely Sunday to all of you wherever you may be.
Friday.
Friday. So I hope you have a good Friday, and I'll probably continue to do the same. So
your voice.
I know.
Can you raise your voice a little bit? Your volume.
Okay. I know you try to criticize me because I'm the guy who always told people that they're peace sabotaging group.
Don't worry about that, Kwanmula. Go ahead.
But you know, it is one thing to criticize something, but it is also one thing to oppose it.
Yes.
Okay. When you say, like myself, I want this peace, but when I don't see the sign of peace, it makes me say, whoa, wait a minute. Shouldn't you be doing this? Because I thought we are into an agreement here. So, and that's why my critic will be different from other people. I want to hold this guy account by saying that, hey, if we are for peace, let us be for it. Let us not try to do things that will make it look like it is not a peace. And this is nothing new. We all know this. In any type of war, at the end of the war, the first thing you start with, you release the power. That's the first thing you want to do in any type of war. It doesn't matter where you are. You release those people to show the gesture of saying that, you know what, past was the past. Let us move on. Okay?
Correct.
And I said this yesterday that if Riek Machar went to Juba on the 31st, I'm gonna go and join Amal and Bol guy, the party of do nothing and without any future. You know, we can
Kush democratic majority, right?
Yeah, so you know, the party that go nowhere, that's gonna be my thing, because I don't want to stress myself with this thing that is not going
Are you
nowhere.
sure about what you're saying?
I am positive, man, and I hope he's not gonna go. You know, people question that this guy, they're not alive. How could they not be alive? This guy, they're alive because they were offered a job to work with Taban and they refused. Whether it's Agere was offered a job, Luke was offered a job, even Peter Gadet himself was offered a job, and then they refused. That's why they would never been released. If they have accepted it, they would have been like Dr. Diomotok. They could have been like Lado Gore if they accepted it and work within the government. But of course, that would have weakened the IO if they did, because they are key members within the IO party. So I'm still for peace, but I want to hold this guy accountable. The world now know, okay? Kiir tried to buy some financial, emotional.
Now, Kwan Malwal, we don't want to beat around the bush today. Why do you think Kiir behaving this way? Just 1 week. 1 week from celebration that had been announced, the head of the state are coming, Dr. Riek Machar was invited. Next week, and all of a sudden he started criticizing Riek Machar. Oh, this guy actually doesn't accept anything except president. This guy just wanted to be president. I don't know what is in his heart. And all of a sudden, he started saying that when Jeff Koinange asked him, are we going to have sustainable peace this time? And he said, I don't know. Maybe it will last. Why? Why do you think?
Well, you know, the very reason is very simple. Kiir still want to energize somebody like Tuj, okay? So he has to energize him by bringing this arrogant comments saying that, oh, this guy won president. Who doesn't want presidency? Everybody wanted. I wanted it too. So how is it Riek Machar become the only person who wanted it?
But was it a right time? Even though he has big disagreement and he signed a peace deal, was it a right time?
It's another way to mobilize people. Like I say, he want to energize people like Tuj, anybody who support the government part. He want to keep them energized by saying that this guy only won presidency.
Actually, Tuj is decent. He's reasonable, you know.
He's reasonable, but you know, I'm just setting him as an example here of the supporter.
Go ahead.
So he has to energize him by saying something that, you know, it's like a pattern of this guy behavior. You know, this guy only won this and he's doing that. When in fact this is just another setup for the past to move on with something else. So Kiir, I told people, Kiir is not happy with this piece, okay? But he was forced by it. And who forced him to do it? He was forced by the third party. As much as we said that Riek Machar was threatening to go to be sent to South Africa, no, it is Kiir who has been forced to even sit down and sign this piece more than anybody else. And
now,
you know,
Kwan Malwal, now, if I'm wrong, we are at the same boat now. We are on the same page, because we said long time ago, not too long ago, that actually this piece, it was engineered by Khartoum, and it's serving Khartoum interest, and it's serving Uganda interest. It's not serving people of South Sudan interest. Are we in the same boat now?
No, because the one thing that we've been missing all along, Jongkor, is somebody holding Kiir accountable, okay? Uganda did not hold him accountable because they were his allies. The Kenyan did not do that because they were his allies. Now come Bashir coming in with true interest, okay? Not only that he's getting money, but he's also having the hope of, wow, I can get this country back, or I can unite these two countries back again. So he's going into South Sudan with true hope. Okay.
So now what is next? What IO can do now?
Now the IO, one thing the IO would do is basically Riek Machar is not gonna go, and I you know, I'm very 101% on this one. If these guys are not released, he should not go, no doubt. As much as this is not a, you know, people question that, you know, why you're not giving this ultimatum before then. Well, of course you know why. At least if you're not really a politician, you will say this could have been done previously, because if the IO has done this previously, they would have hold the very people who are sabotaging the peace. But at this stage, the IO is in better hand when it comes to international view. The government is on hot seat. If they want to continue to be in the hot seat, let them be. Now they can go and do. They can do the party on the 31st without Dr. Riek. And then the question is, why did Dr. Riek did not go? Oh, it's very simple. His guy is still in prison, which is a very reasonable argument to make in any front of. I'm sure Teresa can take this one as a lawyer.
But at the same time, the government actually, like I said in my introduction, that actually they call Riek Machar and they start provoking him with that interviews, criticizing him. You know, seemingly they are not interested in peace. Then all of a sudden, Riek Machar now will back up, and then they will talk to the region. You see, they are not interested in peace. We are, and then they will tell their people on ground, you know, that they are not interested in peace. Listen, my brother, when that peace was signed, I was the first person to say that, you know what, we should not take, you know, curve. We need to go straight. We need to go straight, because actually the facts are facts. If you want to do right thing, it's like light of the sun. It's clear. But you know, everybody was saying that no, this is the right way, this is the right way. You see now, this is the result. The result.
The problem is, Jongkor, the IO was in a weaker side, okay? So in order for them to get back into the game, they have to kick this can down the road. They have to. And that's exactly what they did here. They continue to kick this can down the road until they get a grip of it. Now they have a better argument than they have back in 2017 or 2016. They didn't have any argument, but now they do have that by getting into this, because what they're going to provide to the international community is what we did. We absolutely did nothing wrong. We just want our guy to be released. Is that a problem? Absolutely not. If you want peace, it's not a problem. But if you don't want peace, you're going to make it a problem. And that's case is the government is doing exactly just that. So, you know, this guy is not professional. And this is how all of them are.
Thank you.
When you are a public figure, you try not to be ignorant. Even if you hit somebody within your heart, you try to hide some of the word. But, you know, people like McQueen, people like Kiir are sometimes like, geez,
you have to be politically correct.
Right. You know, why did Pagana Mom, Dr. Riek Machar, Lamako, they allow this guy to be the leaders? I mean, this is just the lowest leadership that you will not even want to run a community, leave alone the country. He cannot run a community because he's not the kind of guy.
Okay. Let's leave it there. I may bring you back, you know, dear brother. I have a lot of people today, and I want to give chance to every South Sudanese as we speak. Okay.
Let's wrap my thing up. I'm a seal for peace, okay? I seal for peace. But guess what? I'm going to hold him accountable for not doing exactly what's supposed to be a pattern to a pathway to the peace. If he continued to violate that, I would continue to speak against him. But until then, I cannot say I don't want it. Of course, I wanted peace. But if we have to point out what make it not to be a peaceful thing, those are the things that we should be pointing out. In terms of his interview, I rated the guy 1% interview and from 1% to 11% because there's no benefit in that interview. I mean, as a country, you can take the negative word that he used and the negative response that he used. I mean, it's useless. He did not even benefit.
There is no message of hope whatsoever in that interview.
He did not even benefit from that interview as somebody, you know, as a leader, sometimes you want to sell yourself to the public.
Correct.
He did not even do that. He even destroyed himself even worse. So I thought Junior did better than him and Paul Malone.
Okay, let's leave it there. Thank you so much, Kwan Malwal. And
thank you.
Stick around.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And good weekend to all of you. Thank you.
No problem.
All right.
Hey, how you doing, Jongkor?
I am doing good. I'm listening to Nyantwin Mayadit actually. So, welcome to Concerned Citizen of South Sudan.
Thank you for having me.
So, you see our topic there. We need to be sincere. We need to speak from our hearts. I know we are fans of the government. Why president is behaving this way, my dear?
How?
On that interview.
No, give me a specific, the interview is long. There's a lot of questions he asked.
Why he is criticizing his opponent? This is the guy that he signed peace with. Why would he say that Riek Machar always just his eye on the chair? Why would he say that? I'm not sure if this peace is going to last or not. Why and why and why? There's so many things. Go ahead.
So now you ask me why he criticized Riek Machar?
Well, that's part of the process. The guy, you signed a peace deal with the guy, and you are opening a new chapter. You open a new chapter, and all of a sudden you start, criticizing the guy. And when you ask if this peace is going to last, you say maybe. Is that the message that we are looking from the president? And said,
okay. If you put the how he answered the question in a context, the president, he was referring to why the peace deal of 2016 was collapsed.
Okay.
Any answer, it seems that he criticizing Dr. Riek Machar, it was an answer for a question that the journalist asked him why the peace deal of 2016 collapsed. And he gave an answer because there were two armies, and Dr. Riek Machar, he was to enforce his authority, and on and on. That's how the criticism come. He was talking about things had happened in the past, not in the current situation. If you ask him about the current situation, he say he met Dr. Riek. But they always talk.
But I'm sorry to disrupt you. Why the interview at this time, at this specific time, a week from celebration in Juba? Why?
Well, I think the president, he has his own schedule. I don't know, but whenever he have available time to talk to the media, he will talk. It maybe is coincident. It doesn't something, people prepare for it.
Coincidentally.
Yeah.
Okay, so we were actually looking for, certain for the president to assure the people of South Sudan, to send the message of hope that now the deal was signed. It is our collective responsibility to protect that peace and make sure it's implemented. Why president is saying that? Maybe we'll last.
The president assured the people of South Sudan that the peace will last because he is committed to it, and because all the loopholes.
He said maybe. He said maybe on that interview.
No, that's the first one. When he asked is this peace, he asked him, will Riek Machar implement he said maybe. But if you go back, when ask him, are you sure this peace at this time going to work? Are you assured to your people this peace going to work? He said, yeah, I'm assured people of South Sudan this peace will work, and we will open a new page in our history. He assured the people that. But maybe it came as in a context he was answering a question when they asked him about whether Machar sincere or not sincere, and he said, I don't know what he's in heart. So all in all, we need to look on what's going on the ground, regardless to the statement of the president, which he assured the public of people of South Sudan that this peace will sustain, and he is highly welcoming Dr. Machar to Juba. And the security of Dr. Machar will be guaranteed by the government of South Sudan and by the grantor of the peace, Ethiopia, Kenya, Uganda, and al-Bashir of Sudan. In case Dr. Riek Machar, he don't trust that much, the government of South Sudan, Museveni will be there, Kenyatta will be there, all the heads of the grantor, head of the state, they'll be there. That give him more trust and give him more sense of security.
So now, the peace, the President Kiir, okay, they're supposed to have that celebration. And IO and other opposition, they have called for POW to be released, political detainees to be released, and all of a sudden it's not happening. And IO got exhausted, and you have listened to interview of Stephen Parr by South Sudan Focus, Voice of America, and they said, now we are not going until political detainees are released, POW are released, and state of emergency lifted. Would President Kiir do that prior to celebration?
Well, what I know, the state of emergency has been lifted and some of POW, they are released. I think what remained are the 5, and the most permanent one is Peter Gadet and Edry. And what I know, Dr. Riek Machar 2 days ago or 3 days ago in Khartoum, he confirmed that he is going to attend the celebration in Juba. Until the moment I talking to you, I know Dr. Riek Machar, he committed in the media. He was talking with Tut Kiao, the security advisor of President Kiir.
That's a week ago. That's a week ago, right? And Stephen,
let me finish.
On Wednesday. Okay, go ahead.
Let me finish. And I know Dr. Riek Machar, he spoke. He never spoke through his spokesperson or any IO official. So until I hear from Dr. Riek Machar himself that he will not attend the peace deal, I'm stick to the statement of Dr. Riek Machar that he will be attending the peace celebration in Juba. That's what I know.
Okay. Well, Tuj, thank you for giving your perspective, brother. Before I let you go, if you want to say anything, go ahead.
Well, you know, during the 5 years of war, we had our ups and our downs. And if you look, the language we use in the social media between IO and the government supporter is changed. Now we are 100% on peace. And we want to bring peace and stability and justice to our people. And peace and stability and justice could not be done while we are in the war. We need to settle, and we need to lay the foundation for us to exercise our differences as a South Sudanese. This one. The other thing, the social media also, we need to promote that peace. We are not here like a mistake hunters. The government does that, the government does that. You wait, if anything went wrong, you just run about it. And see how these social media are so desperate. They bring the statement of President Bashir 2 years ago. This was said 2 years ago. This shows you how desperate are these people, negative people are.
We are not talking about that statement now. We are not talking about that statement. You know, that's
I'm just giving you an example. These mistake hunters, how they are not tireless. They are working very hard to bring anything negative about peace. At the end of the day, the peace and war are for those who are unable to fight a war. And the same people who are able to fight the war, they have ability to settle and bring peace and prosperity. And this should be our role, all of us, whether we are IO, we are in the government, we are a different political party. And thank you, Brother Jongkor, having me. And you have a good Friday.
Friday. Why you guys want to go to Sunday? Everybody want to go to Sunday. Just slow down. Thank you for coming.
Okay, man. Thank you.
Okay, you have
bye.
Okay. All right, let me go ahead and look on my list. Let's see here who are next.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon,
Good
Dr.
afternoon,
Francis.
Dr. Francis.
Oh man,
And good
you have,
afternoon,
You
everyone.
have
echo on
you have
your
echo on
your thing.
your thing.
Hopefully it's gonna
Yeah,
work.
I don't
Hopefully it's
know.
gonna
This is
work.
my phone,
Fine.
actually. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think the timing actually was a big problem. It was in an appropriate timing,
Mm-hmm.
but the the interview actually was meant for President Salva Kiir to respond to accusation or allegation that was made in the interview with former Chief General of Staff Paul Malong Awan. This is one thing. The other thing also.
But Dr. Francis,
But
to
Dr.
stop you
Francis,
there
to
before
stop
you
you there
proceed,
before you proceed,
you said the interview
you said
was
the
meant
interview
to
was
respond
meant to respond
to General Paul
to
Malong.
General Paul Malong.
But actually,
Yeah.
But
there
actually,
was one
there
question
was one question
came out of that interview
came out of that
regarding Paul
interview
Malong.
regarding Paul Malong.
When Jeff
When
Koinange
Jeff Koinange
asked President
asked
Kiir
President Kiir
that
that
General Paul Malong
General Paul
actually
Malong
think you are a
actually
good
think you are a
soldier,
good
but you
soldier,
are a bad
but you are
leader.
a bad leader.
Correct?
Correct?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
And yeah, actually, that is the main things, because actually you see most of the time the journalists, when you interview one person, and then there is another part which is not you have not bring the other person which is being accused. Actually, people may consider that actually you are favoring one side of the story, and therefore, although it was meant good for that one, but also a lot of things that came up within that one. So first of all, the government, it was supposed to have a very clear plan. So most of the time, actually, the interviewer, they submit all the questions, and therefore the team, they should go down and they put a guide for the president to talk about this according to the plan of the government. But unfortunately, that one, we don't have it. And we know actually President Salva Kiir is
Why do you think we
most of
don't
the
have
time.
it? And
We
we
don't
have
have
press
it, and we
secretary
have press secretary
who always, on the
who
social
always,
media
on the social media writing.
So that he doesn't have time
he doesn't
to
have
question the
time to
president how
question
he's
the
going
president
to
how he's
respond
going
to
to
this
respond to
answer.
this answer.
I don't think that a Tenwag is not an expert, actually. These are the team of the advisors who are supposed to sit down so that they can guide the president in terms of political line of the government, so that actually they can direct the government policy and the answer according to the plan of the government. But a Tenwag is just only like he's just saying whatever the president says. So he's a press secretary. He's not a political analyst, so that they can guide the president through that procedures. And while I'm saying that is not there, because actually it came obvious from the content of the interview, actually, because there is no guide. These are indications that there is no organized people within the government that can be able to do that job. This is one thing. The other thing also, we know Salva Kiir actually is not consistent in terms of his plan. And if you can be able to recall the time before the convention, yeah, there is 1 week before the convention where actually the unification of the SPLM-IO Tabang group joined the SPLM. So before that convention, actually the president talked about on Jongkor Museum, and he talked actually about whatever happened between him and Dr. Riek Machar, and then after 1 week, he was calling for Riek Machar to come and rejoin the SPLM. So you can be able to see it is the same thing that is happening right now. So the interview was conducted just only 1 week, and there is a lot of negative things before the celebration of the peace, which is going to be on 30th. So this is an indication that there is no clear plan for the government. There is no any directive. So it's all about what do you say? Actually, there is a random things, you see. And this is also, you cannot blame. If you look into a lot of things that is coming out from the office of the president, you can see even South Sudan is written, is spelled wrongly. The name of the country that you are supposed actually going to know in your heart, and everybody, you get the spelling is wrong. So that's an indication that the people who are working within the office of the government, their
Disorganized.
capacity and qualification is being questioned actually. So this is one thing. The other thing, Kiir himself, he needs peace more than anybody else. Why? Because it's the peace who give him the mandate for the government. Because the government mandate was supposed to expire in August. And therefore, it's the peace agreement which gives him the mandate of another 4 years so that he can continue and his government can continue. So the survival that Kiir got from this agreement is very important to him. And therefore, I don't think that the government could kick the ladder that brought them up to the power, because actually the government would be legitimate without peace agreement. And therefore, Kiir needs peace more than anybody else. The other thing also, the IO also needs peace more than anybody else, more than the government itself also. Why? Because the IO, when the incident of 2013 happened, it was just only 2 years away from the election, which was 2015, and they missed it. Then again in 2015, they signed the agreement, and therefore the election was supposed to be on 2018. Again on 2016, people fought, and then the election pushed ahead. So this time also, if there is a fighting, the election will be pushed ahead. And who's missing? Is the IO who is missing, because the IO is yearning to take the presidency, and Dr. Riak actually is working hard, is ironing also to go for elections so that actually he can get the position. So it is highly time right now. The IO also, they need to be careful, and that's why I think even these conditions, if they were not met, Dr. Riak is likely going to go to Juba and celebrate. So because actually he needs this time, the election to come, so that actually the mandate, every time Salva Kiir is talking about that he has been given a mandate by the people, can end. And this is the only way that the IO could be able to end the mandate of the government.
But don't you think, Dr. Francis, the election has to be conducted in conducive environment? This is very toxic. How the election is going to take place.
Yeah, you see, when you have an objective that you need to achieve, and you have the long journey that you have to pass through, you have to resist any temptation going back to the war. And this is what the IO need to do. If the IO actually manage to control the temptation in 2016, we would have gone to election in 2018. You see, but every time you will be provoked, because actually it's not in their interest to go for election, and therefore to be wise, the IO should be wise, and therefore they should resist any temptation, any provocation from the government side, so that they can go for election, because they need election more than any other party.
Now, don't you think all this thing is the dilemma? You put it from the beginning. It was the wrong time. It was the wrong time for President Kiir to conduct this kind of interview, criticizing Jongkor, and he's not assuring the people of South Sudan that we're going to have sustainable peace. And he's saying maybe. Don't you think that President Kiir still have the tactics to want to remain in power until he dies?
Yeah, it could be, and it could not. Actually, there is nobody who can say that it is 100% true, because actually we cannot predict the future. But as I told you, actually his government, the fate of his government is depending on this agreement. Otherwise, if he ban the board that take him to power, so what will happen actually if he need to go back? There is no way. So there is no way the government could get out from this dilemma than implementing the peace agreement, because even the international community later on, there is nobody who would accept renewing the mandate of the government if actually the election has not been conducted. Nobody would do that. So they need to think well, and they plan well, because their interest is in the implementation of the peace agreement. And even the IO, their interest is in implementation of the peace agreement.
Thank you. Dr. Francis, if you want to add anything, go ahead before I let you go.
Yeah, actually, the peace agreement, there is no way out, because the cost of war is very huge. And therefore, the two parties, sometimes, yeah, in the statement, maybe the president won't going to please their supporters underground there, and therefore he won't going to please them for the election purpose and whatever not. But there is no any way that the government could run out from this peace agreement and even the IO. And therefore, they have going to push in terms of implementation of the peace agreement so that people can go for election and the people of South Sudan can have the right to choose their own leaders.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Let's leave it there and please stick around. We may bring you back later. Thank you. So people are saying that there is an echo on my voice. I don't know if you guys can still have that echo. Let me go ahead and call the next person here. Emmanuel, actually, you did not send in a request. The request is not in. Try to send it in. Okay, I'm going to go ahead. Emmanuel, while I'm waiting, and I see your request also, Sabata, I'll bring you, but I want to go ahead and bring Dominic, because Dominic actually has requested a long time ago. And Emmanuel, go ahead and send in your request. I want to tell you perspective as well. So Dominic, I'm calling you. Dominic Rico.
Mister.
All right, Dominic, welcome to Concerned Citizen of South Sudan. Your light is not bright. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, go ahead. Yeah, I can.
Sama. كيف؟ شنو عمك؟
الحمد لله. تفضل يا دومينيك.
والله تعرف أنا ما باخذ زمنك كثير يا جونكور لكن to be honest with you يعني is very unfortunate إنه بلدنا ده وماشي طريقة لازم ماشي فوقه. اللي أنا داير أقوله إنه بما إنه السلام ده كان جاي بطريقة غلط إنه في أسس وفي بيس ما كان ناقشه قال بيجي بناقشه جوا هناك لكن في سؤال بطرح نفسه هنا هل طلب بتاع رياك ده على اساس قاعدين يقولوا مثلا لو قالوا يقولوا دايروا ده الكلام ده هل هيتم تنفيذه ولا ما بيتم تنفيذه؟ and I personally don't think so. هل الناس دول قاعدين ولا ما فيشين؟ انت ما بتعرفهم قاعدين وما فيشين. لكن في بدايه كده النطاق بتاعت انه عملوا السلام ده ما عملوا بطريقه انه احنا خطينا اسس كده انه بعدين في بيسز اساس بتاع مشاكل بتاعنا في الجنوب ده جايين ناقشوها اصلا ما في وكان قايم كده كانه حاجه كده مش يعني حلول بتاع المشكله واضحه اصلا انت عشان تحل المشكله انت لازم تبدا على اساس المشكله لكن هل في طريقه في فرصه انه لقدام كان بيكون في ولا ما في لكن حاجه ده واضح من اول في ناس بيقولوا انه انا كنا دايرين سلام انا دايرين سلام دايرين زول ناس اللي قاعدين برا هنا ده حتى لو انت جريت زي شنو في امريكا هنا انت ما حتقدر تقول انت جنوبي لان انت زار ما ساهمت في بنيان بتاع بلدك احنا لازم احنا نبني كوادر بطريقه اللي انه كلنا نشارك بعض في دوله لكن في اللي انا داير اقوله هنا ده انه نحن ما نخش انفسنا لو في سلام لما نجي اي زول بيعرف انه في سلام لكن سلام اللي بيجي انه بكره بيكون في موت ثاني ده ما سلام ده ما سلام وده فرمايو ولا من حكومه اي سلام انت بتعمل معي بيس وبيهان ده انت عندك فكره ثانيه عندك خطه ثانيه انه لو ده حصل انا بعمل لك كده ده ما سلام ده من بدري انا قاعد نشوف فعلا شو بتاع كويس انا لايك انت يان ماتيو انت لو شايف انه الناس بيجوا في شو بتاعك لشنو هنا مونجان اول باول لكن انت لما تتكلم انت ما قاعد تتكلم انه قضيه بتاع جنوب السودان ده عشان رئيس من دينك انت المفروض تميل في طرف واحد لكن ويان ماتيو ذا سيم ثينج احنا لازم احنا نشوف فيو اي زول ببليف بتاعه تجاه اللي انت شايفه صح او انت تمشي فيه لكن انفورشنتلي في بلدنا هناك ناس بتساهموا الا بشنو الليله ده انا من قبيله بتاعي لو شفت القبيله بتاعي فوق انا بجيب معه لكن ده غلط عندنا اسس كتير لازم كان انه الناس يقعدوا تحت يعملوا ادريس لانه في حاجات ما لو ما حلوا جنوب ده ما بيكون فوق بيس وانا بشكرك شديد لفرصه تعددني له
شكرا
وشوف واحد ثاني افضل
شكرا جزيلا دومينيك ريكو for your contribution brother You have a wonderful day.
All right.
I don't see you, Emmanuel. I'm gonna go for Sabata, and then I'm gonna go for a good as well. So Sabata, go ahead and answer that. Sabata, welcome to Concerned Citizen of South Sudan. How are you?
Thank you. Fine. How are you doing?
I am doing great. Faddal, faddal, ya akhui.
Good. Thank you very much, Jongkor. I also want to thank everybody who is on the line watching and also hearing. You see, Jongkor, actually, I agree with the analysis that you have given when you said that Kiir doesn't look like he wants this peace to proceed, and that is true, because if you read the signs from the beginning, even when this revitalization forum was introduced, Kiir did not like this idea. Kiir was insisting that the temporary government of national unity was doing fine with the implementation by Taban Dengai. He has actually been pushed against his will. So he ended up sitting down for the forum. And if South Sudanese are to start watching the development from that
But
to right
Sabata,
now to this interview,
Sabata, I'm sorry to cut you off. But how long are Kiir is going to keep blaming, keep saying that this is not my will? I have been told, I have been told. For how long? When he's going to come out from the closet and make a bold decision to the people of South Sudan? That I'm going to do this. This is what I'm going to do. Nobody's going to tell me to do this. But this is the right thing I'm going to do to the people.
well, for how long Kiir is going to do this? He's going to keep doing this for as long as he doesn't get deeply challenged on what he is doing. Okay, Kiir is getting away with so many things, by the way, that he has been doing. Kiir has gotten into a point where if South Sudanese are really principled people, nobody at this time will be supporting Kiir, and no political organization at this time will be even signing peace with Kiir if people are really serious and principled. But unfortunately, South Sudanese seems to be demonstrating. I really don't want to see this. I don't want to say this word of naive, but it looks like South Sudanese seems to be presenting that kind of an image. That is why Kiir is presenting himself the way he is presenting himself. You see, Kiir has, if you read signs, Kiir has demonstrated beyond reasonable doubt that he doesn't even want this peace. He has said it to Bashir that he doesn't want to work with Riek, who has not known that, and that he was pushed to say, no, you have to work with Riek. And when the peace was signed, he even didn't shake hands with Riek, right in front of the public. Who has not seen this? Everybody saw it, but people tend to act as though, you know, everything is fine. This interview, you are right. This interview is done deliberate. Kiir did give all those words to provoke a situation with the SPLM-IO, and he's winning, because you can see from Stephen Parr's response. You see, under the normal circumstances, given that he has signed a deal with Dr. Riek that they are going to be working together, under the normal circumstances, he should be a little bit more friendlier. He should be putting things of the past for the past. He should not be poking things here and there that would rejuvenate anger. Yes. But when you look at that interview, he has accused Dr. Riek of coup again, even though Dr. Riek all this time has rebutted to this. Everybody has been saying there is no coup. He has brought that thing again, that Dr. Riek attempted coup. In a way that he's trying to say Dr. Riek is not patient with the election of 2015, he is power hungry. You see, he even accused Dr. Riek of trying to kill him in that meeting in J1. Okay? All those kind of blames are serious blames. How do you blame a person with whom you are going to be exercising peace like this? Is that the spirit of goodwill? Is that the spirit of goodness?
Good
I
question.
doubt it. Yeah, I doubt it. Yeah, a normal person will not do that. And I'm very surprised that and kind of talk
Go ahead.
about what he said, something hunters, people who are just looking for loop or negative things here and there. No. I mean, this is very normal. If Tush is not conscious enough to realize that when you have already settled a problem with somebody, you are not supposed to say those things about that person, then maybe that's why he's supporting IO. I mean, that's why he's supporting SPLM, probably. Anybody who is conscious and has a human conscience will realize that those are mistakes. Those things cannot be defended. You see, Kiir does not want this peace. The other mistake, well, it looks like, you know, people want this peace to happen anyways. But I also want to remind the people that it is the same Kiir who didn't want this RCs to begin with when it was signed in 2015. It is the same RCs, it is just revitalized. He didn't want it in 2015, and Dr. Riak went in 2016, and people were talking about elections. Were no elections. Did people see elections? Now the circle is going on. Again, this same peace, RCs, which Kiir does not like, has been revitalized. And now, Dr. Riak talked about going in. People are again talking about elections. Which elections are people talking about? In front of all those national security, Al-Kiriagi control, I doubt it. There's going to be no elections, Al-Galiahi. People will see elections. Dr. Riak is going to be a candidate, and there are going to be some other candidates. Let people take these things out of their minds. The reasonable thing that people should be concluding at this time is Kiir is not going to give any room for elections. This guy has to be fought out. A logical person will look at things that way, but not again to think that there will be peace and there will be elections. Elections is not going to happen. Now, I also want to remind the people that Kiir had the gut to throw away RCs, and they manufactured an RCs where they're implementing with the Bandengai, when IO actually went had their own troops, and their troops were kept separate. But let people remember that this time, IO is not going to have separate troops. All those people are going to be content, and the commander-in-chief is going to be Kiir himself. This is actually giving him more power of the power that he had in 2015. Then how comes he's going to allow elections will happen? If he didn't allow elections to happen when RCs was signed in 2015. You see, let people not fool themselves. There is going to be no elections.
Thank you, Sabata.
Yeah, there's going to be no elections, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for your perspective. Let me go ahead. Let me go ahead in my list.